My name is Ken, but my friends call me Ken Dog, and I'm inviting you to join me as I travel down the Mother Road, Route 66. Oh wow, what a day yesterday was. Kingman, this place was amazing. Oatman, everywhere that I went yesterday was just fantastic. But today, it's time to enter California, the final state of this part of my Route 66 journey. Before heading out of town, I had to make one stop. I saw this last night when I was driving around. It's another of those Route 66 drive-through shields like I saw back in Grants, New Mexico. I just had to make a stop here and drive through it just because. Since I stayed last night in Kingman, I still had to drive back to Route 66. I didn't really want to take the loop around to go back through Oatman again, though that would have been fun. So I just took the interstate back to where I had cut off the day before. This took me straight down to California, and you can see coming right up here, I'm about ready to cross the Colorado River right here and head into the final state on this section of my Route 66 journey, California. Just inside the California border, looking back towards Arizona, there is this amazing overlook. This bridge here used to be what carried Route 66 originally. You could see that part right there just before you get onto the bridge in the movie The Grapes of Wrath. They stopped there and overlooked the Colorado River. Now it carries rail traffic as well as different pipelines between Arizona and California. From this viewpoint, you can see what is now the newer bridge for Route 66, and then the old one, which used to be part of the National Trails Highway. I'm glad I stopped to check it out, but man, it was hot. Hot that day. It was right at 114 degrees while I made this video. Now I understand why there were so many people out on the water, because it was quite the toasty afternoon. But I had to see this view, and what a view it was. Absolutely loved it. After leaving that overlook, it was back out onto the interstate. Again, my least favorite part of traveling Route 66 is the portions where you have to jump on the interstate. But back on the interstate I went. Had to go through an agricultural checkpoint. That sure lets you know that you're entering California. And then just a few miles in was my exit. So it wasn't too bad of a drive. I'm just going to be glad to be back out onto the lonely road of Route 66. Just up the way, they have this little stop here that's got some really good information on that billboard back there. But it's a cool little checkpoint here. Anybody that wants to get out of their car and kick it, maybe have some lunch. And again, it was freaking hot. So who in the world would want to do that? But it was a neat little stop just to see what it had to say before continuing on towards Needles. Originally opened in 1923, Carty's Camp was a series of 28 different cabins. It could also be seen in the movie The Grapes of Wrath. As I headed into Needles, boy, you could tell I was in California for sure. About a half an hour west of Needles is the town of Goffs. Goffs is quite well known for the fact that they have preserved their schoolhouse here. It was originally built in 1914, and it's a great little tourist stop when it's not hot. The day I was there, as I tried to go take the tour, this is what I saw. I completely wasn't expecting it, but the program that I was using for GPS for this trip, for some reason, put me back out onto the interstate. It's just a few miles up before I got to the exit, but I was still kind of confused as to why it didn't take me the other section of Route 66 that I thought it would until right up here. So traveling this beautiful blacktop, I saw that sign right there, and I knew. So as you can see from this map, when you come from Goffs down to Fenner, I fully expected to follow the blue line here all the way down to Chambliss and then over to Amboy. But that section was closed. So what it did is it took me from Fenner, the interstate, all the way over here, and then down to pick up Route 66. So I wasn't sure what was really going on, but this is right where I was sitting when I saw that the road was closed up ahead. So I didn't know if it meant the part I needed or the part that I should have gone. So I just kept going. Just jumped back out, and away I went. We'll see what happens, I guess. That's the way I was looking at it. And I guess I got lucky because it was open towards the west, towards Amboy, just like I needed. In 1938, Roy Crowell opened up a service station here. In the 40s, he expanded to add the motel and the cafe, and it became quite the popular stop here in Amboy. And the day I was there was a rather large tour group there on motorcycles. Despite the blazing heat, they sure were enjoying themselves here at this famous stop along Route 66. Amboy even has its own dormant volcano, the Amboy crater. It's said to be about 79,000 years old, and the last time it erupted was just a little over 10,000 years ago. Just about 7 miles west of Amboy sits, well, what's left of the town of Baghdad, California. Right by this lone tree up here, when I pull over, is where the Baghdad Cafe and Motel used to sit, which inspired the movie Baghdad Cafe, which was actually filmed just a few miles from here in Newberry. But what interested me the most were these white mounds. I really don't know what they are, and I was probably stupid for checking it out too close, but I think it was salt, but I have no idea. Kind of strange. And there is that lonely tree in Baghdad. Do you remember that group of motorcyclists that I saw at Roy's back there in Amboy? Well, a few miles up the road, they caught up with me, so I pulled over to let them pass. The drive from Baghdad to pretty much Barstow was pretty uneventful. Not a whole lot to see, honestly. A few things, but not much. As you can see, it's pretty sparse out here. But when a little town pops up, it's kind of cool to get to see a lot of the places. So here are some of those pictures from along the way. My next stop was in the town of Oro Grande at Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch. I've heard a lot about this place. Actually, from pictures, kind of just look like an old junkyard. But when you're there and you see this man's collection on display of bottles, all sorts of things, just everything, it doesn't look like junk. as much as it looks like a beautiful piece of artwork. Let's go take a walk around. If you ever find yourself in Oro Grande, California, do yourself a favor. Stop by Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch. It may look like a junkyard from the road, but when you're walking around, it's absolutely fantastic. I could have spent all day, but it was hot, and I had to hit the road. the last night of this part of my trip, I decided to do something I've never done before, and that is to sleep in a teepee. They like to ask, have you slept in a wigwam lately? Well, no, I haven't, but I was about to this night. So I went to the one in San Bernardino, and I checked in, and I tell you what, it was a cool experience. Let's check out my teepee. What a cool place and what a great day it was, but as the sun went down, I was ready to call it a night.